A lot more action than you might expect in this episode, and just after the battle with the Bat Devil too. Chainsaw Man does not lift its foot off the gas pedal quite so easily. Though in the latter half we get some interesting character interactions, let's get into the recap. Surprise, surprise, Power is alive, and clutching Maui's cage. She hasn't forgotten her promise to Denji either, so it's looking like they can sail off into the sunset. Unfortunately, the Leech Devil is a bit of a killjoy. She doesn't appreciate her lover, the Bat Devil, being splattered all over the streets, and is seeking vengeance. While Denji does put up a good fight, due to his lack of blood, he can barely transform partway into his chainsaw form. When all seems lost, Aki arrives and summons a fox head to devour the Leech Devil. A while later, Denji wakes up in a hospital with Aki proposing to keep Power's indiscretions a secret, as long as he follows his every order. To which Denji dispassionately agrees. In a meeting with Makima, Aki covers for Denji and Power, claiming despite their idiocy, at least there were no casualties. Makima believes they'll get along so well that she sends Power to live with Aki and Denji. It looks like the boys enjoy her company too. We end the episode with a juvenile but kind of sweet moment, as Power appreciates Denji's saving herself, her cat Meowie, and killing the Bat Devil. So much so that she'll allow him to fulfill his lofty dream of copping a feel. Let's start with Denji this time around. It's not entirely clear how long Denji's chainsaw form can last or how much damage he can accumulate. At the very least, it establishes a precedent that Denji can't just walk through every enemy. There is at least some sort of limitation being presented, forcing him to use some cleverness, such as wrapping intestines around the devil's legs to trip her. Need to note, without Aki's assistance, he would have indeed died. In fact, he probably should have anyways, since he got a giant hole in his stomach, which just disappears right after the fight. Unfortunately, you can set all the limitations you want, but if a character can regrow an entire stomach in a minute or two, the threat of death for our main character seems hollow. Also to note, his body can reattach his limbs really easily, so even in his human form, he's not entirely human. I'm more forgiving of this because it requires certain conditions, like retrieving the limb, and presumably it took time to happen, since we're not aware how long he was unconscious for. Moving on to Denji's goal of making it to second base, you can see him get visibly frustrated when that's belittled by the Leech Devil, and a tad bit self-conscious about it as well, considering he starts to compare his goals with others. Even after the fight, he also feels the need to tell Aki to take him seriously despite his petty dream. So definitely poking at a nerve, and we'll have to see where the show takes it, as the end of the episode implies that he'll have reached his goal unless, some sort of goofy hijinks interrupts it, of course. As for Aki, he seems to be struggling to reconcile his thoughts on Denji. It's restated in this episode he has no love for devils or fiends, and treats them as tools, exemplified by how he speaks of Kon, the Fox Devil, or Power. However, he is conflicted about Denji, as he witnesses him lie to protect Power, but also save people from the Bat Devil, except for that one dude. At the end of their conversation at the hospital, you can see Aki attempt to categorize Denji as a weapon or tool, the same way he does with Kon and Power. The fact that all of them live together now, I think will force him to address these feelings again, or at least that's the way this show appears to be going. Not much going on with the ladies in this episode other than Power being absolutely disgusting. Just a horrible, vile person to live with. To the point where Denji and Aki were united in their revulsion, with some good character moments mixed in between, like when Power throws her food and Denji catches it, both informed by these characters' histories, as Denji could barely afford a loaf of bread, and Power could eat whatever animal she wanted that was wandering the wild. Still haven't been given much on why this cat means so much to her, compared to any other random animal that she ripped the heads off of and drank their blood from their neck stumps. The only thing left to mention, Makima and Aki discussed the aftermath of the battle in the city. It gets mentioned that there were no casualties, and I don't believe you. I know it's a fact within the show, but I can't believe this shit the show is trying to serve me. The battle was less than 5 minutes. There was no way people had enough time to evacuate their homes. And even with that being the case, the damages caused never get addressed. I suspect there wasn't going to be a satisfactory explanation, but I think calling Power and Denji stupid is indicative of the problem. I agree, they are. So why'd you let them out on their own without supervision? This episode didn't do anything to alleviate the criticisms I had of the third episode, such as the damage caused by Denji's battle or why public safety lets these walking wrecking balls wander where they will. It seems the focus is shifting back to Denji's personal life, which is fine with me. I thought the first couple episodes were better for it. That's all for now.
That creep can roll, man.
Yeah, but he's a pervert, dude.